Hi everyone, I'm back again. Same day, can't believe it. After I got done making my previous video, I started talking to Zanfast, and he was talking about, did you know that there was a huge hurricane that was supposed to be hitting the day that 9/11 happened with the Twin Towers being taken down? And I said, no, I didn't know that. So he starts reading about it, and all of a sudden, I have all this stuff come flooding in, like, whoa, 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 hang on to your hats, because wow, do I have a lot to tell you. It's funny how the universe works like that. If it wants you to know something, it's going to find a way to get you to look at it so you can know it. So, this is what I saw. No matter what, there was A, B, and even C and D in place to make sure those twin towers were going down. And then you'd have to ask yourself, why? Why, no matter what, were those twin towers going down? Well, of course, you know they were taken down with explosives. No planes hit those things. There's no way an airplane could go through a building anyway, because the first thing an airplane would do, because it's made so flimsily, is the wings would pop off. They're not made like that. They're not bullets. They'd like to make you believe it is, but no. Anybody who doubts this, go look up the aerodynamics of a plane and see why they, on impact, blow apart, and why they have a black box that's pretty much impenetrable, because the plane itself is a flying death trap. Really, if you're going to go into something, you're not surviving. Okay, so the next thing is the hurricane. I started looking at the hurricane, and of course, the Navy, who works on our Navy, the USA Navy, the military of the world, of course, with their technology, they have been for a very long time doing geoengineering, which is chemtrailing. And of course, they seed certain things. They can develop a storm system through seeding. And this was developed to hit at the same time that if the pyroplasmic plaster, or whatever it's called, the dynamite, whatever it is, did not go off accordingly, then they could hit the area with this mega storm, which of course then they would devastate the building somehow, and of course there would be devastation, what have you. And then I looked into, okay, so they didn't need to do it, so they veered the storm off, because it literally stalled it. They stalled the storm out at sea, and then it took off the other way once the Twin Towers came down. Oh, we don't need that secondary measure now. So now we're going to look at why. Why all of the charades and charades and all of this destruction? What was going on with the Twin Towers that they needed to hide so desperately that they were screwing with the weather, blowing up the buildings, cover stories and cover stories, and there was even a third cover story, and we'll talk about that toward the end. But let's go into this first. So I see underneath the Twin Towers is this big banking system. And I'm looking and seeing what all they took out, and I'm like, they couldn't have just done this for the gold there. Yes, they took out a lot of gold and coins, but there was something even more important and more valuable down there that they had taken. Deeds to properties, deeds to large properties, deeds to countries. Yes, you heard it right. Deeds to countries. Now I'm going to go back and say, okay, why would any country put such valuable things in a foreign land? Well, because if you wanted to keep it really safe, you're going to put it in the one place where America, or the United States of America, is a military complex. It is the military of the world. And you would think having anything so important as the deeds to your countries, the land, would be safe there. Here's the problem. In all of this going on, there's the corruption, of course. the certain families running everything, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and the Vanderbilts, and the whatever. You'll have to look up all the families that are running the world. And then there's the deep state. The deep state actually planned that they needed to have untold amounts of income coming in to continue their space projects. There's no space like that. There never was. But they are dealing with the bigger Earth, the extra beings out there, the extraterrestrials, technology. Now, let's look at the technology. The technology of physical technology to change any kind of material on a biological level, on a metaphysical level, this kind of technology, opening up, what would you call that? Like time manipulation. And then there's the physical things too. They need to have physical equipment to do this stuff. CERN. Prime example. You need physical money to make a place like CERN and all the places that are like CERN, which deal with horrendous things that they all need to get shut down. But anyway, you can see where it's going on and on and on. You need money. So let's look at these deeds that were stolen. And then ZenFest asked me, wait a minute, if these countries were actually owned by, because every country's a corporation, it's owned by someone. If they're actually owned, wouldn't their name be on it? And I'm like, yeah, but they got around it. And he's like, how did they get around it? And I'm like, well, in our world, possession is 9/10 of the law. Possession. So the deep state went in, got all this stuff out, the gold, the silver, the coins, the deeds, which it was all about the deeds anyway, to these countries. And now they physically had the deed. 9/10 of the law is possession. I own it. It's in my hand. And then you have to ask, where were these countries? And I started looking and I'm like, oh, the EU. The countries that are now in the EU. This is what it was about. Let me see. I'm going to own this country, Germany, France, I don't know, all the countries in the EU. Count them up. I think there's like, 37? You now have the deed to those countries in your possession. And this is a pirate world after all. And they're pirates. 9/10 of the law. I own it. Then you have to wonder, well, is this why they went to the euro? Because now it's being owned by one individual that runs the deep state. And this is their money train. And this is how they get their money. And this is why the lockdowns are all happening, because it's being owned and run by one. So we look back at the Twin Towers. They were coming down no matter what. All to hide the land grab. All to hide the piracy. What was going on? Well, the whole thing's piracy. But that was the ultimate thing that had happened. And no one, at least on our level, has a clue to what really happened and what it was really about. The top 1% know very full and well about it. And that's why they had now we have the EU, and now we have the New World Order, and all of this crap. You know, it's pretty doggy dog at the top even too. So I was looking into this and I was like, none of us, any of us on this level that I'm on, that you're on, the common man, we have absolutely no value as individuals. But we have great value if you own the deed to the land, because then you own the people. Remember those birth certificates of ours? Yeah. So not only do you own the land now, you own everyone on the land that resides in that country. So there's your power. There's your monopoly. There's the energy that's being produced. It's something. It's really something. So these Kabbalists are even cutthroat to each other. Of course, they'd slice their own children's throats for $1. Of course they would. As much as they love them, this always comes first. And they are very sacrificable. Now, I'm going to go back to something that I had been researching, and I'm going to add it into this video. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video. We're going to be going to look at Rockefeller. And they had a son. I think he died in, I don't know if it was the 60s or what have you, but I started to do a little bit of research on it, and I started seeing all this stuff coming in about when he had gone to a place, I think in Africa, and he was only like 22, I think. And he ended up disappearing. And they did this wide search for him. They couldn't find him, and they said that cannibals got him and ate him. I'm here to tell you, that's not true. That's not true at all. But I can tell you what happened. He was a game changer. They had to take him out. He cared about humanity. He cared about the common man. And he needed to go. So some of the other families had gotten together, secretly of course, because they're all pirates, cutthroats, and they found out where he was. They'd been monitoring and tracking him, and when he was in a very vulnerable position, he was taken out. And he was taken out by the ones you would least suspect, his own. His own took him out because they knew to change timelines, they needed to get rid of anyone who had a being who was full of love, and he was. So, if you ever get a chance to research him, be my guest. Please go research him. And, yeah, he was murdered by his own. And cannibals didn't do it. And it wasn't an accident in the water. No, no, no. He was taken out. So there you go. There's another thing. There has been, of course, on my other video before this, we're having timeline wars. And they are going back into realities, and they're getting rid of people who are prominent in raising the frequency, in raising reality. And they're trying to wipe them out. And so there's, of course, this war going back and forth, and it's starting to go to the higher positive reality, even though right now they are throwing everything they have and the kitchen sink to make sure that we stay locked down here, because this is all we really are. This is all we really are. This, yes, we're in the physical now, but not forever. Temporarily. And so they're trying everything they can to keep us locked down in this physicality. And they're doing it with fear. And they're taking out opposition throughout reality so they can continue down this road. And I say it's enough. It's time to wake up. Like I said in my previous video, everyone needs to go in their sleeping state and contact their shards in other realities, even themselves in this reality, at younger ages, and infiltrate their knowledge by giving them everything you know now, so they'll have it, and they can use it, and they can forewarned is forearmed, and the awakening can happen. Two can play this game. This is what they've been doing the entire time, awakening themselves at a young age. And they don't have to use a time machine. That's ridiculous. All they have to do is connect here. There's your time machine. If you think you need to walk into a time machine to do damage, no, you don't. All you got to do is right here, because thought is everything. You want to undo damage? Right here. Thought is your time machine. They don't want you to think this. They want you to believe you have to have a physical machine to go back and change time. And that is so far from the truth. the diversion again. Oh, there's a machine. You can't do it yourself. Oh, yes, you can. You're the biggest machine. And that's what they're afraid of. You waking up to that reality. So, okay, I guess that'll be my second video for the day. I was really excited to see all this stuff. I mean, it was horrific and it's horrible, and I would love to change all of that. But there you go. This is why we now have the EU, even though it was starting to form together a little bit, but it was on a different scenario where it was a bunch of families who own these things coming together instead of just all being stolen. And now you'll do what I say, and I get the money, and I get the people, and I get the profit. Insidious. So, we all need to work together, and we start here. That's your biggest weapon, here. And fear, put it out the back door. Don't worry about it. You are the time machine we always were. And I want you to know that either. We can alter everything here. In our thought, in a moment, we can alter it. Okay, so on that note, everybody have a great day. Bye.